The art of self-concept, stop putting out fires. So a lot of people get into manifesting, and then after, let's say, a couple months, couple years, they find themselves always having to fix things. It's like you're a builder, and you walk around and you're like, man, this is going wrong. Let me go into the 4D. You fix it. But then something else goes wrong. You got to go fix it, and the cycle continues. And I've been in this for 5 years. And throughout my 5 years, it took me about 5 years to fully realize this, to understand it. So I'm hoping to help you avoid the mistakes that I made in this video. But the reason why you keep having to put out fires like my beautifully drawn and executed picture right here is because you don't focus on the art of self-concept. And when you don't focus on self-concept, well, you'll always be having to fix things when you're conscious manifesting, okay? So it's very important we get into this. But first, 1 second. I need to tell you what I do every single time, and if you've never been to the channel, we go over what the true definition of manifestation is, because guess what? If you don't know it, you're going to have a difficult time manifesting. And quite honestly, people always are spewing bullshit. They don't actually know what it is. So what is it? It's giving something to yourself as done until you no longer want it. Now, some of you guys might be thinking like, oh, if I have a desire, I'm going to want it. Well, if you know how the universe works, you only have what you have internally. So when you are wanting something, desiring something, it is a signal for you to give it to yourself internally so you can then materialize it into reality, okay? And we'll go over the delivery system of the universe and how that all works, but I want you to get it through your head now that manifestation is just giving something to yourself as if it's already done. Oh, I didn't even write that down. Or as done until you no longer want it. Giving yourself something as if it's already done until you no longer want it. For example, if you're manifesting an SP or you're manifesting money, it'd be like, oh, I make $1,000 a day, or me and blank are in a relationship. And you give it to yourself as if it's already done until you no longer want it. And we'll kind of go over what that is, but a sneak peek into that is satisfaction. You're giving it to yourself as satisfied. But now we're kind of going to go over why you continually have to put out fires in your reality and the art of self-concept. So let's go on to the next board. So, self-concept. What is it? And how can it stop me from putting out the fires in my reality? Or why is it causing it? Well, it's a double sword. And, well, let's kind of go over what self-concept is. So self-concept is literally just beliefs about self. So maybe a self-concept that you have is, I am not lucky. And you will experience a reality of not being lucky. But a lot of people don't do anything with self-concept. What do they focus on? They focus on specifics. So that might be like, I make $1,000 a day, or I'm in blank relationship. It doesn't matter what you're doing here in the specifics. I mean, it does, obviously. You're going to get what you're doing. But why you're having so many fires in your reality is because you're not focusing on your overall self-concepts, the beliefs about self. And when you neglect your overall self, well, that is why these fires are coming up, because you can be like, oh, I make $1,000 a day. But your overall self-concept is, it takes forever to manifest money. And that could be why you're not manifesting the money that you want. Or it could be, I'm just not lucky. Everything always goes in everyone else's favor, but not mine. And guess what? You're going to experience life not going in your favor, even though you're doing everything right to manifest these specifics. Or your self-concept could be like, oh, I always struggle with manifesting. Manifesting is super hard. Then you're going to get a reality of that. And that could be a big reason why, let's say you're manifesting money, but then everything always seems to go wrong. And like you're playing catch up in the 4D. It's because that is what your self-concept is showing you. It's creating the fires, and then you have to go into your mind and fix them. And I had to do that for like legitimately 5 years. And I'm not even joking when I tell you this. I am a big guy in money, and this was always my main thing. And I would make a shit ton of money. At my peak, I probably made $140K in a month, but normally I was anywhere from 50 to 100. And I would always feel like I had to fix things. Like everything was going wrong. And I'd be like, what the fuck? It'd be good for a couple of months, and then it'd go in the shitter. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And mind you, I've been doing this for 4 to 5 years before I figured this out. And it's because I wasn't focusing on self-concept. My spiritual ego got in the way of focusing on myself, and I only focused on the specifics because I feel like if I didn't just focus on the specifics, I would never get them. And that is a trap of the ego. Okay, it's very important you focus on the self-concept because the self-concept is going to show how your whole reality shows up. It is really that simple. So a lot of you guys might ask, how do I change my beliefs? How do I change my self-concept? How do I do X, Y, and Z? Well, we're going to go over that. We're going to go over the delivery system of the universe. So let's go on to the next board. So as stated before, the delivery system of the universe is how you're going to get everything it is that you want. All you got to do is follow the same process as you would at Amazon. It's the same process over and over and over again. But a lot of people don't get it, and they are never taught it this way. So when they do succeed, they don't know why. And then when they don't know how to fix it, and it's kind of like a bunch of bullshit. And mind you, I'm saying this because that was me. It took me a very long time to actually figure this out, have repeated success. Now I'm teaching it to you guys, so you don't have to go through the bullshit that I did. So the delivery system of the universe and how we're going to use this to stop putting out the fires and why they're even there in the first place. So energy, what is our energy? Okay, energy is our thoughts and our emotions. And when I say emotions, I'm not meaning feeling euphoric, but it's just a thought that creates a different sense of self. Okay, and we'll kind of go over that in other videos. If you want to know more about the thoughts and emotions, go to my very last video. I forget what it's titled, but it's about how you get your manifestations quickly, okay? And why people see signs. So, thoughts and emotions goes on to frequencies, which is just basically your identity or what's in the subconscious mind. And then it is your intuition, which a lot of people don't know what this actually is. They just hear it as a fancy word. Intuition split into two. It's the inner teaching from the version of you who already has what it is you want. Whatever you're holding in your frequency, you will get the intuition of, which is the inner teachings, to the action or inaction, which is just mental nudges for you to do or not to do, or for other people to do or not to do, to then get the reality of whatever is in your frequency, okay? And when you know that, well, you know all you got to do is change your energy, and everything follows suit. It's very, very simple. Now, what a lot of people will do is they will be like, okay, let's say $1,000 a day. Cool. So it'll go down to the energy, frequency, intuition, action or inaction, then to reality. But why do some people struggle to manifest even though they're doing all the steps right? Well, that's where we get into self-concept, because a lot of you guys are actually being fucked by yourself and by the ego of not being able to go in and fix self-concept, okay? It's very simple. Now, a lot of you guys will be manifesting money, but they never get it, or it takes a very long time. And it's because your self-concept is also going through this exact formula. And it's funny because a lot of you guys won't even realize this, but if you're manifesting $1,000 a day, but your self-concept is, I never have enough money, you're basically being double-minded within yourself. Or let's say your self-concept is, not enough money. And I can say this from experience because this is literally what happened to me a while ago, a couple years ago. So I was manifesting 100K a month, but my self-concept was basically that everything went wrong and I never had enough. And I was making so much money, but I would always have to give it away or stuff would go wrong. I'd have to fix more things in my physical reality, I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on? Like, I have this money, but it really doesn't matter because I have like the same amount to spend as before when I made less. So it didn't make any sense to me. But the universe always has to give you your beliefs. So yeah, sure, you're making $1,000 a day, or in my case, it was $100K a month, and it got to my reality. Cool. But you know what also was already there is that I never had enough money. So everything would go wrong. Everything would go sideways. Because guess what? It had to. It's also adhering to the same universal laws. If I believe I make $100K a month, but I believe I also never have enough money to spend, I'm going to get the reality of both. And that's a lot of you guys. Or for some of you guys, it's, okay, cool, you're doing everything right for your money, but your self-concept on manifestation is, I cannot manifest. So you could be doing everything right here, but this belief on you not being able to manifest is making it so all of your work has no effect. And it's very, I don't know, silly, because a lot of people don't talk about this anymore. It used to be literally the hype of everything way back in the day when I got into it back in like 2021. It was the hype of everything. Everyone was talking about self-concept this, but now it's like a scary topic to go on. It's like, oh, self-concept is scary, but it's not. It's literally the foundation that you build your fourth dimension on, or your whole life. Like, would you build a house on top of a shitty foundation? No, because it would break. That is legitimately this. So a lot of you guys will focus on the specifics and neglect the other areas where life is showing you you are still neglecting self. So if you're doing, like, manifesting this for months, you're doing something wrong. It should not take you months to see changes, okay? It just should not. So if you're manifesting money for months, well, it's probably because you think it takes a long time to manifest. You need to fix that self-concept. And how do you do that? You literally just put it into this formula. Self-concept. Not enough money. So what would be the opposite? I always have more money than I can spend. You put it in your energy, which is your thoughts and emotions. Frequency, intuition, action or inaction to reality. And you're actually going to fix all of this bullshit. I mean, seriously, all of this will get fixed by fixing the concept of self. Now, a lot of you guys will be like, well, I don't know how to do that, even though I just showed you this. And cool, that's understandable, because there's a little more to it. Let's go on to the next board. I'm going to show you common self-concept affirmations that you guys should add to your routine and your belief system, and, well, how we're actually going to impress the subconscious mind. So, let's go to the next board. So, as we talked about, we're going to be going over some of my favorite self-concept affirmations to implement in your life to actually make it so you're not putting out fires, okay? And then how to master the energy part of the delivery system of the universe, because you can know it but not know how to correctly implement the energy. So I'm going to give that here for you guys. So first, energy. How do we master the energy? So the whole point of manifestation is you get a desire and you're supposed to feed your desire until you're full. What would that be called? That would be called, as I told you earlier, satisfaction. Boom. Now, how do you manage to satisfy or get to satisfaction when it comes to your desires? A lot of you guys would be like, well, I don't know. And honestly, if you would have asked me that 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. And at that point, I've been in it for 3 years. So what does satisfied mean? So let's say you're going in and you are manifesting money. All right, you have the desire to make $1,000 a day. And whenever you first get a desire, that is when your desire should be at its peak, because it's a signal internally that you are lacking nutrients of the mind or lacking your desired reality. And it's just like eating food. Think about that. How do you become satisfied when you're eating food? Let's say you're hungry. You go eat a cheeseburger, and by the time you're done, you're full. Well, that feeling of fullness is what we're going to be getting here when it comes to being satisfied with our manifestation. And now, mind you, always think back to food. You're going to eat, and you might be hungry later. What do? That doesn't mean you've done something wrong or the first time you ate was wrong. It just means you need to eat more. See, that should be a light bulb moment. So money, $1,000. So you'll go and do X technique, until your mind is full. Well, how do you know your mind's full? I want you to genuinely think on that for a second. What would prove to you that your mind is full? I mean, genuinely, think about this for a second, because a lot of you guys, if you can come to the conclusion yourself, it might actually sink in a little bit easier. So I'll give you a couple of seconds. Don't skip the video. Come on, use your brain. We got this. We're going to get to this together. So, how to know that your mind is full is when you no longer want to do X technique. Now, I'm not talking about this in a lazy way where you'd be like, oh, I just want to get back to my reality, go play on the PlayStation. Which, trust me, I love me some PlayStation, and if any of you guys play Madden, I will cook you in it. Not negotiable, would beat you by 100. But what I mean by this is when your brain basically shuts off, think of your brain like a battery. And let's say when you're starting off affirming, it starts down here, or doing whatever technique you do. I affirm, so that's what I say. Do this technique, and you start here, and you want to go until your battery is basically overflowing and it breaks. So that might take 5 minutes, or for someone who has a bigger desire, it might take 30. I've meditated for 45 minutes in a row. And truly what it is, and the more you experience and the more you try it, the easier this will be. But you will go until, like, let's say, for example, you're manifesting money. And you'll come in there and you say, I make $1,000 a day, and you do it over and over again until you start, you'll feel some sort of inner change. And then you'll sit in that interchange for a while, and it'll go eventually until it shuts off. And you'll feel relieved. That's the feeling we're looking for. You'll do this over and over again until your brain kind of like flushes. It's very difficult to fully like portray that. You guys kind of have to feel that yourself. But you're doing it until you no longer want to do it. And your brain is like, it's relieved because you just satisfied your internal hunger. And I really suggest that you strongly go and try this for yourself. Go do something little or something that you view little, because nothing is big or small to the universe. Go sit down, calm your brain down, put on your favorite little meditation music, and then go do whatever technique you like for something very silly or something that you have a small desire for, and you do it until you no longer want to do it no more and you feel satisfied. It's like you're relieved. Okay? And that is going to be the quickest way to manifest, because you are killing the desire. And as we talked about earlier, manifestation is the art of giving something to yourself as if it's already done until you no longer want it. And a big reason why people struggle to manifest over the long run is because they're filling their hunger in bits and pieces. Every time the hunger comes up with us, and now that you know this, you're going to be filling it completely. So now that we know exactly how to manifest, we know how to deal with the energy, what is some self-concept that I use? My favorite self-concept to make sure you're not actually having to continuing putting a bunch of water on the fires of your reality. Well, let's say one of them is I manifest everything quickly and easily. I manifest everything quickly and easily. Now, what does that do? Well, very right in front of you. I manifest everything quickly and easily, so you'll never have to struggle with your self-concept hindering the time in which your manifestations come in. Because they'll always come in quickly and easily. It's a no-brainer. 2, everything always works out in my favor. Boom, another one. Everything always works out in my favor. It doesn't matter what is happening. Everything is always working in my favor. It's working for me instead of against me. And these two right there will solve 90% of your issues, 99% basically. Because I manifest everything quickly and easily. Your self-concept will no longer hinder your ability to manifest. And no matter what's happening, it's always working in your favor. And you know this. It's working for you. And then the last one that I really love, It's more just like it's just fun. I'm everyone's favorite person. Now, when I was at the peak of just saying this shit every day, I used to have the craziest experiences. And for a lot of you guys who are manifesting an SP, you're everyone's favorite person, including the person you're trying to get. But on another stand is you will literally have the coolest things. Maybe you get free food. Maybe someone pays for your shit just because you're everybody's favorite person. You'll get invited to stuff that you weren't even getting invited to. You'll be added to group chats you were never in. It is the coolest experience when you actually flood your mind with I'm everyone's favorite person. So what I expect you guys to do and what I want you to do is when you get out of here, set up a routine. Well, now you know how to manifest your main desires by using energy and you know how they come in because I gave you the delivery system of the universe. And I want you to add these to your routine. Okay, read them to yourself in the morning and night. Actually meditate on these. When you add in the self-concept, you're no longer going to have to be putting the fires out in your reality. So now you know the art of self-concept and how to stop putting out fires in your reality. Well, see you guys in the next one. I'm out.